Hello, everybody. Welcome back to your daily crypto news. I do hope that you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, leaving a like, leaving a comment, or subscribing, all of these things do help out the channel immensely. And very big thank you to all of you out there who have been helping out the channel. Yeah, welcome back to another video. The news is newsy today. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. It's really interesting how it took 18 hours for a massive, and I mean gigantic, shift in the feeling and tone of the cryptocurrency markets. It says Bitcoin retains $41,000 as Bitcoin exchange withdrawals match record levels. It says Bitcoin may be threatening lower lows, but behind the scenes, demand is only up. There's a lot of news floating around right now. Many of the articles kind of mimic each other or have the same general information, so I only have the ones that are relatively relevant on the screen here. The amount of Bitcoin outflows from cryptocurrency exchanges has dramatically increased over the last week or so. There's even a chart somewhere around here that I'm also going to be able to show you. And the general sentiment is, if you remember yesterday, we were discussing that Bitcoin's price was $40,013 or something like that. But a large portion of the price news was that if Bitcoin can go above 41,000 and stay above 41,000, that is once again kind of the catalyst for prices to move back up, i.e. we got the news that apparently whales, people behind the scenes, were trying to retest the lows to see if they would hold, and apparently they have held. It says Bitcoin and Ethereum inch higher. Luna and Avalanche outperform. I mean, Bitcoin's up by like 2 or 3%. Same exact thing with Ethereum, at least at the time of me making this video. And Luna and Avalanche are up by, I think, 4.5%, 5%. So yeah, they are outperforming, but it's not like anything hyper dramatic per se. There was no Avalanche news, and I think Luna is still going up based off of the news that they're buying $10 billion worth of Bitcoin. So, you know, Bitcoin should also be moving up on that as well. This one says technical analysis. Why Bitcoin's price could eye strong recovery above $41,500. That was basically the news that we got, that we've been getting for, it's been about 2 days or so. Whenever Bitcoin's price and Ethereum's price fall, we tend to get news that this is the number that we have to be above in order for prices to move back up. So we're here. We're at that point once again where we should be rallying in price, or maybe things will get better towards the end of the week and or tomorrow and or the weekend and or next Monday. But especially with all the news that we've been getting, and even more so from a lot of the analysts, like even the first article that we were talking about and the other one that we're going to be talking about in a couple of seconds, the general sentiment is that we are in and have been in a very heavy accumulation spot for a very long time, and the accumulation numbers are higher than they've ever been, which is basically an indication to us that people behind the scenes believe that a massive rally is about to happen, and therefore they're trying to accumulate now so that they can make the most profits as prices begin to pump. It says Ethereum holds prices at 3,100 as market gradually starts to recover. Isn't this a very different tone from what we had yesterday? I know a lot of people joke sometimes about the thumbnails that I use on the videos, but I try to make them as realistic to the current situation in said video as possible. But I mean, it really is weird that we can have a good 1.5 day period where every single analyst is like, oh boy, Bitcoin's going down. And I wake up in the morning and everything is like, here we go, starting to recover. Let's pump up those prices, $15,000 Ether. And I'm like, oh, okay, just, hold on a little tiny bit. This one says Bitcoin's price is at paramount levels. We are either going to extend our consolidation, meaning going sideways, or ignite a 10K rally soon. It says the asset appears to have accumulated for a while, and hence a significant uptrend is quite expected that could uplift the price much beyond $100,000. We've had this sentiment for a while. When I say that Bitcoin's price should be well above $70,000, it's not simply because I'm a believer in the cryptocurrency space and the freedom of movement of money, which I am, but it's more of a logic. If we hit $69,000 with a less amount of accumulation and less people in the market and less Lightning Network usage and less banks buying up Bitcoin and less hedge funds buying up Bitcoin, and in a year and some change later, all those levels are 3 times where they were before. Don't forget the hundreds of banks who we know are getting into Bitcoin at some point this year. We should logically be near $100,000 at this point, and this is also kind of the general sentiment from all the analysts. And I do explicitly wonder exactly what's holding us back. I.e., if every analyst is seeing and saying the exact same things about their charts, they're showing that we should be a lot higher, or they believe that we are on the cusp of a gigantic movement. You might even remember, this is about 3 weeks ago, Plan B was on Twitter, and I mean, he was ranting and not ranting and raving, but more like typing and sending. I don't know what people do on Twitter. And he was basically like, yeah, this is it. We're ready to go. Bitcoin's price is going above 100,000. And I think that even the idea of a 100,000 Bitcoin is like hyper conservative at this point, because everyone's expecting a $250,000, $333,000 Bitcoin. So the idea of a $100,000 Bitcoin is like, yeah, okay. And then what comes after that one? This one says zone of heavy opportunity. Analysts with an S tip Bitcoin will stage a comeback. I don't have to read the entire article. It is quite long. They had information from 3 different analysts who all basically were pointing to the exact same thing. They say that because of the movements in price, the holding of the levels, the fact that you might remember 2-3 something days ago, the news was Bitcoin might dip back down to 30,000 as the new level of support. The news that we got was that if Bitcoin held 40,000 and went above 41,000, that would be confirmed as a new level of support. Basically all the exact same thing. But one of them, I believe this is the chart right here that I was talking about. Yes, one of them had a chart, it says from Blockware Solutions. The idea basically being from the article, these are the movements of the market. Got it. Every time we've historically entered into a green moment where basically prices were not only oversold, but also massive accumulation had been taking place around these levels, usually directly after there was some type of a mega rally. Same exact thing in mid-2011, 2014, 15, etc., etc., etc. And now, after a couple of months where we saw this last year, we have now re-entered into that green phase, which is always, at least according to this chart, every single time, followed by a yellow pump and then a red pump, a yellow pump and then a red pump, a yellow pump and then a red pump. You kind of get the idea. And this looks like the most extended green period that we've had for a while the accumulation has been taking place. On top of that, I'm telling you, everyone, it's really weird. I go over the news daily. You know that. Sometimes twice a daily. The swings in sentiment within the market are some of the most fascinating things, and I'm sure that they are being studied, and we will get documentaries of them in the next 10 years. But the market is down by 3%. Woe is us. I can't believe how the cryptocurrency market is failing. Shadowed with prices are up by 6.5%. Let's go to the moon, and everyone on Twitter and on Reddit completely losing their minds. It's fascinating to deal with this every single day. The head of a major American hedge fund thinks the crashes and pumps of Bitcoin will be less volatile going forward. In a new blog post, Pantera Capital CEO, his name is Dan Moorhead, says more institutional ownership of Bitcoin and a higher Bitcoin market value will moderate the top crypto assets price swings. He said, while we've had 2 minus 80% bear markets already, I believe that things are I believe those are a thing of our primordial past. Got it. Future bear markets will be shallower. The previous two have been drops by 61% and 54%. Unfortunately, there's no free lunch. The flip side is we won't have 100x rallies anymore either. And I'm sure people would be just fine with having like a 12x rally if we didn't ever have an 80% drop in the market again. Moorhead argues that the current bear market is finished and Bitcoin has moved onto a new rally cycle. I told you, everyone was like super optimistic, and these are just the articles that I actually decided to have in the video. Nearly all of them had the same general sentiment. Like literally now, today is the time. Bear market is over. Let's move up to a brand new price. He said the next 6 to 12 months are likely to see a massive rally as investors flee stocks, bonds, and real estate markets for blockchain. This used to be a fairly popular topic. I want to say 2016, 2017. You would wake up in the morning and see that Bitcoin was up by 18%. You'd go to bed, it's down by 22%. Very dramatic movements constantly, every single day. It was a very difficult market to be in, especially back then. The idea is the more liquidity that we have, the more money that we have in the market, the more stable prices would be. This is kind of the idea of having 10 to 20 trillion dollars just in Bitcoin, giving us what would that be? A 10 something million dollar, whatever Bitcoin, $500,000? Yeah, I think $500,000 to like $1 million Bitcoin. We would barely see any gigantic movements on a day-to-day basis. We may, over the course of a 6-month period, we may see, oh, wow, the price actually did move, but the price would become a lot more stable and therefore become closer to a currency the more money that we have inside of it. I don't have the article here, but Mr. Jamie Dimon and also the head of was it Bank of America? I don't remember, are now predicting some type of a hyper recession for this year. Like not a normal recession, not necessarily a depression, but basically they're expecting a lot of movement outward from other traditional markets as they see that they may not do as well because of the Fed raising the rates or whatever the Fed is doing behind the scenes, and a lot of that capital will begin to flow to other places. The banks who mentioned that we may see a hyper recession did not explicitly ever mention cryptocurrencies, as I do not think that they ever would, simply because I don't think they want to push any capital into that market as they're trying to buy at current prices. But a lot of cryptocurrency analysts who did mention that we look like we are near some type of a very heavy recession because of everything that's been going on in the world, tend to believe or think that a lot of the capital will simply flow back into crypto, the same as that we saw in 2020 and 2021, where people were looking for brand new ways to make money as they realized the old system might have not been for them. That's all the price news. Nothing too insane, I would say. It's nice having optimistic news days. I wish they were this way every single day. Just a little bit weird that yesterday it was complete doom and gloom for the entire market from every single news story that we went over. But now everything is like, oh yeah, get ready for a massive pump in prices. Whether that will happen, time will tell. But I am a firm believer in Bitcoin should be doing something by now. Yeah. And without further ado, let's move on. Now, I'm going to go over this and I'm going to try and be as neutral as possible. I know it's not going to work, but, bear with me. The long-awaited Ethereum Merge is set for yet another delay. I know. With developers working on the upgrade, estimating a completion times a few months after June. I know. Owing to the success of testing, there was a general expectation that the merge would go through mid-year. However, the latest setback is unsurprising, given that the proof-of-stake network transition has been delayed constantly ever since it was first proposed in 2016. For those of you who have not been in the market as long as others, when Ethereum first launched, nearly 6 to 12 months after the launch, it was proposed that they would have Ethereum 2.0, I believe, by 2017, if not mid-2017. It caused a bit of a ruckus. What is this new coin on the block that everyone's talking about? How amazing is this new coin? It does more transactions than Bitcoin. Could it be that by the end of 2017, they're going to have 2,000 transactions per second while Bitcoin only has 3? We got to the end of 2017. There was nothing. We had news that by mid-2018, we would have I think it was called a difficulty time bomb, if I am not mistaken. There was also a proposal for the Ice Age. If you've been here for a while, you're going, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Where these proposals were, Ethereum was going to have these major upgrades. And the idea was, in order to stop other people from using the old withering chain, they would basically freeze everything on the other chain. It was basically called the Ice Age. And this idea was, as we moved towards the merge, towards 2.0, it would be necessary in order to freeze the other chain so that people would only be incentivized to use the newer chain. That then became late 2019. Early 2020, we would have this upgrade. I remember that was also a big amount of hype as well, because the idea was 2020, here comes the upgrade. It's a whole new decade. I was going to say century. Whole new decade, and here comes the upgrade. That then became mid-2020, the end of 2020, early 2021. And then you might remember at the end of last year in December, I told you during 2.5 months, it was December and January of this year, pay attention to the time frames that we are constantly given. I know that we get a lot of news, and a lot of times it may get jumbled up in other news that's out there. But I said whenever we get a date, pay attention to that exact word, always. You might remember last December, that we got the news that June was, and I believe it was even more so, the beginning of Q2, if I am not mistaken, that we would get the upgrade. By the time we got to January of this year, all we heard was, June is the time. June is the time. June is when we're going to have this upgrade. Just a little rant. It's more so I need you to always remember when we have these time frames, because I think we've gotten to the point, and I think we've been there for a while with Ethereum. It's kind of do it or shut up is I couldn't find any other words in my brain at that point. This has taken so long, and we have so many other, dare I say, even Ethereum competitors. If by June, the other coins that are supposed to be doing the exact same thing as Ethereum aren't rallying, I would be completely shocked. This has taken so long. It's actually even mentioned in the article from one of the developers. I am not a coder and or developer. I do not explicitly at all understand how long these upgrades take. However, in a market when you are either directly or indirectly, explicitly messing with people's money and their investments because they got into your market because they heard that June was going to be the time frame, you have to understand how people would be a bit peeved, one would say, because of these developments. And it's going to scroll down over here. That said, the signs are promising that the Ethereum mainnet will actually merge with the Beacon chain to become a proof-of-stake network this year. For real. Ethereum developer Tim Belko provided the updated timeline via Twitter yesterday, tentatively stating that the core devs are into the final stretch. He said, it won't be June, but likely in the months after. No firm date yet, but we're definitely in the final chapter of proof of work on Ethereum. After noting that his comments caused a stir amongst Ethereum proponents and haters alike, Belko, I can't see if that's an I or an L, followed up today by observing that it can be hard to parse the progress of the merge when you aren't deep in the process. Here's a tweet for it right here with a little, with a smiley or an emoji that has a little sweat drop happening. The problem is you can't keep promising these dates for 6-7 years and just expect everyone to sit back and go, no, it's fine. Ethereum's definitely going to upgrade. If you've been here for more than 2 years, how many times have we sat here having this conversation? I remember in 2020 being like, Q3 is going to be the time. That's the time that we've been given. As Q4 started, I was like, well, we only have 3 months left to give them some extra time. We've been here all before. I feel like maybe just don't promise so much next time. I think that would be the better solution. Upgrades, as far as I know, from things that I've seen from other companies, from other people working on things, especially with Ethereum that has a gigantic, massive toolbox and huge amounts of money on the side, should probably not take around 6 years, especially if we get this upgrade and this upgrade isn't everything that they've promised that it would be. I'm expecting huge capital outflows from this coin immediately. You cannot promise something for 6 years, have it delayed constantly. If we get this things and transaction fees go up, transfers stop working, there's downtime on the network, people are going to flee Ethereum and they're going to move to Solana. They're going to move to Cardano. They're going to move to many other things that have no association with Ethereum as well, which is already currently happening. I can imagine a lot of the other larger investors are sitting there like, we're also all waiting. So this is major news. It's going to continue to be major news over the course of this day and probably even to the end of the week. As it stands right now, June, the time that we've been given, is no longer the time frame. They say a couple of months after. Part of the problem is December is also a couple of months after this happens. And I'll say this in the nicest way possible. I think a lot of the expectation that a lot of the market had for movements upward were also due to these slew of upgrades that we were supposed to be getting sometime in June from a lot of different coins, Ethereum kind of being the main one. So I just wonder where prices will be. And this also kind of puts a lot of weight then on the back of Bitcoin to actually outperform for the rest of the market so that the market can move up. But yeah, that's I know. I feel the exact same way. It's definitely perplexing in many ways. So I think the best case scenario would be August. Maybe August. If we start getting news about September, I would get a little bit worried. I have a very strange feeling now, that we're going to start hearing December floating around as a rumor. We're going to get close to December, and then we're going to hear a Q1 2023. And I think at that point, for those of you who don't know, I also hold Ethereum. This is not I don't like Ethereum. No, I've been accumulating Ethereum for a while. You can watch my other videos and yada, yada, yada. I think if we get to December and start hearing of a Q1 2023 upgrade, it might be time to leave the project because, something is actually terribly wrong. Just my opinion, of course, not financial advice. It's more of 7 years is a very long time for one upgrade. That's the Ethereum merge is not happening in June, but a few months after June news. And yeah, let's move on. Also, in very, very big news right now, this is also one of the most popular news stories of the day. A number of cryptocurrency exchanges in India are disabling rupee deposits, particularly payments using the Unified Payments Interface System. This followed a statement issued by the National Payments Corporation of India regarding the usage of UPI by crypto exchanges. Options to deposit Indian rupees at cryptocurrency exchanges are dwindling A growing number of cryptocurrency exchanges have disabled INR deposits using the Unified Payments Interface System, which is the most widely used retail payment method. Crypto exchange WazirX is not offering UPI support. The exchange tweeted on Wednesday, currently UPI is not available. Coin DCX is also not supporting payments using. Basically, this means imagine you get an email from your favorite cryptocurrency exchange that basically says you cannot deposit money here. We cannot link to the banking system. That's kind of the general equivalent of it. I myself have never been to India. I have a couple of friends who are from there who no longer live there. According to these friends, this is probably, so they say, one of the most corrupt places on the planet. It has taken an enormous amount of time for the Indian government, for the Indian central bank, and whoever else might be behind the scenes to actually release any type of cryptocurrency regulation within the company. They know why they're taking so long. It's meant to de-incentivize people or disincentivize people, whatever the word might be, from actually getting into cryptocurrencies. If you see that there are too many barriers, if you see that it's too difficult, if you see you can't take your money out sometimes, if you see you can only put money in sometimes, you have no real incentive to get into the market, and you kind of simply follow the rules that have been laid out before you by the government to use their paper currency. That's how things are. It's not difficult to give regulation. You simply say, here's the amount that you're going to be taxed. Here's when you can and can't use it. It is not a legal tender, but you still can use it to pay for things. Bam. It takes no more than literally about a month to have people sit down with people from the cryptocurrency industry, write all of this paperwork, have someone sign it, stamp it, send it somewhere to be photographed with 5 people standing there looking at it, and then bam, it's actual law. So this, I believe, is going to continue for a while. They have been nearly just as bad as the slowness of Ethereum, in that cryptocurrency regulations have been proposed since the middle of 2017 for India, and since then, nothing has been put forth except for the news that I believe there is a 30% tax on cryptocurrency transactions, and then another 1% tax on something else, and then there's another tax when you are trying to sell it or trying to cash out of the market. It's very sad. I wish that the world functioned differently. I wish that we lived in a world where things were more free and people had actual economic freedom. Because once again, I'm not from there, but the stories I have heard from my friends and from watching documentaries is that a lot of the financial situation is quite dire, and people do not have direct access to banks simply because banks hate poor people. That's how they work. So the idea that we already have a system, and this is why I explicitly wish that more people simply had knowledge of how the cryptocurrency space works, so that they could actually use the cryptocurrency space for their own benefit. The idea being, you may not have access to a bank account because banks are terrible, but I probably am sure that you have access to a smartphone. It could even be a smartphone from 2013, 14, 15, and 16, maybe even 2017, that can download a cryptocurrency wallet, and you then have some type of economic freedom. So I'm expecting this to continue for a while. I don't think that India is on the cusp of having an epiphany that they should be treating their citizens correctly and therefore giving them direct access to cryptocurrency exchanges and cryptocurrency markets anytime soon. It's a major shame. So I think at the moment, there are 3 or 4 major cryptocurrency exchanges within the country, and all of them are going through the same exact problem. And I'm expecting, I give it August, September, we're going to hear from this government that they have finally or are releasing their central bank digital currency, and people should be using that as opposed to silly old Bitcoin. Yeah, if only the world were different. That's the corruption news. And yeah, let's move on. Also in hype news, I don't know what to call this. Charles Hoskinson, founder of Cardano, explains why he thinks The upcoming Vasil hard fork will be a major, yeah, there are 4 majors there, upgrade. On the 12th of April, Charles Hoskinson, the founder of Cardano, posted a recap video on his YouTube channel explaining the new update that will make Cardano better after the Vasil hard fork. At the beginning of the video, Hoskinson mentioned that he was preparing for the upcoming Consensus 2022, which will be taking place in Austin, Texas, from the 9th of June to the 12th of June. There, he expects to show the crypto community and Cardano enthusiasts that IOHK and the Cardano development team are open for business. And I please, Mr. Cardano, don't have a situation where you're telling everyone that you are going to announce something and then the day of there are no announcements. Cardano is also very well known for that as well. You might remember 2018, 2019 when they had, what was that? There was some type of a meetup or event that they had in Bulgaria, and they were supposed to be announcing a couple of upgrades. And those upgrades never ended up happening. He said, we're there, and we're trying to get a lot of people to come and set up booths and talk. And we're going to obviously host a Cardano-specific event at Consensus. In addition, Hoskinson announced that the Vasil hard fork, named after his late friend and ADA ambassador Vasil Dabov, oh, that's kind of nice, will take place sometime in June and bring a massive performance improvement to Cardano. He said, as many of you know, a major hard fork Combinator event is happening in June, which is the Vasil hard fork, and that it's going to contain pipelining, one of the pillars supporting Cardano scaling, which will be a massive performance improvement to Cardano. And they also, this article goes on for quite a long, like it continues going down, where they talk about some of the other upgrades and improvements and other things that are going to be happening. But you get the general idea. So the Cardano news has been pumping hard the last couple of days. We're getting a lot more Cardano news than we did before. A lot of news about upgrades, new updates, when this is going to happen. The last we explicitly heard from Mr. Cardano was, I think it was February or March. I think that's kind of the time frame where he mentioned he expects, I believe it's June, July, August, September, and October are going to be major months for Cardano. I believe we have multiple decentralized exchanges. I think there's a new NFT platform. I think that, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think the news was like a week ago in a News I Missed video. What? I don't remember. Maybe Snoop Dogg made NFTs and he launched them on Cardano. I think that was the news. I think that was the news at least. Anyway, yeah, I'm still, and I am going to correct myself here. I was going to say I'm expecting a $3 Cardano, but we already hit a $3 Cardano. The energy still floating around for a $10 Cardano. Not sure if it's going to happen sometime this year, but that's still the general idea of what Cardano can do. And the news continues to roll in as well, that there is massive amounts of accumulation for Cardano taking place, I guess, in anticipation of this hard fork. The other upgrades over the course of a 5-month period, the price going up, hitting $3 to $5, and right? So yeah, that's all the Cardano news. Makes a lot of sense. And yeah, let's move on. And to finish things off, Dogecoin developers are working to use the Starlink satellite network operated by Elon Musk's SpaceX firm to conduct Doge transactions using offline radio technology. According to a blog post from the Dogecoin Foundation, developers Michi Lumen and Timothy Stebbing are working on Radio Doge, which would enable Doge transactions to be processed without the use of an internet connection. While the team admitted there's a lot of work to be done before such transactions are viable, it noted Radio Doge would use cheap and reliable radio technology combined with the global Starlink satellite network. Its goal would be to provide wide-scale access to Dogecoin for people outside the reach of the traditional internet infrastructure. It's weird to think that we are in the year 2022 and there are still people without internet or without an actual internet infrastructure. It is the weirdest thing in the entire world. There are literal robots and drones who are delivering packages to people's homes right now, and we still don't have internet everywhere. Bringing it on back, this is actually very cool. This is not the first time that something like this has been proposed. In 2018, Bitcoin actually has something like this already. It was made for, I believe, certain African countries and also countries in Latin America that, once again, don't have proper access to the internet. The idea was if people did have older phones, not smartphones, they would still be able to use a text message, if you will, to actually send money through Bitcoin on their, like, the old Nokia phones. The idea being, regardless of the technology that you have, you would still be a part of the network. Am I surprised that the Dogecoin developers are working with Starlink? No, not at all. We know that they're so intertwined into each other at this point. It's not really even a partnership. It's simply they're basically pseudo-ish the same kind of company. I wish this happened for all the major coins. I think it would be quite beneficial for the entire market and network if we knew that there was always some kind of a fail-safe, regardless of what might happen to a structure or infrastructure, people would still be able to transact in money back and forth. So the idea of, oh gosh, the internet's down, let's go back to buying pieces of gold would completely disappear, because we would go, no, we have to find a radio tower and we can still send our money to all these different places. Kind of cool. And I'm shocketh that this was not the most popular news story of the day. Everyone wasn't clamoring for this news. I guess it's basically because we don't have the technology yet, or rather, it has not been implemented for Dogecoin yet. And at some point when it is implemented and we hear about it the day before, I assume Dogecoin's price will move up because of, you know, the hype and all that other kind of stuff. But yeah, very cool news. Wish them the best of luck. I wish that every other coin project would do the exact same thing. I guess it's going to take time, and there's not a lot of, demand, if you will, by other parts of the world to be able to use Bitcoin by radio. But, it would be appreciated, right? That's the Dogecoin offline transactions with Starlink technology. Can someone tell me this? Because I keep seeing the word Starlink, and I don't know if I'm dreaming of it or I don't know what it is. Isn't this the thing that Elon Musk proposed in 2012 or 2013, somewhere around there, that would give worldwide free internet? Am I missing something? It must have been Elon Musk. It wasn't Mr. What's the other cartoon villain looking one from the other company? I'm pretty sure it was Elon Musk who said that he was trying to make a worldwide satellite system that would literally blanket the entire world and would give everyone free internet access, free, very rapid, quick internet access. I feel like it was Starlink, but I haven't heard anything about that recently at all. So yeah, that's the Dogecoin news. Let's move on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, GBU Wally, Bubble Mode, How's Life Austin, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Jamie Saad, Blockchain Simplified, and Let's Move On, Empire Queen, Fudweiser, Roman Gaba, Bitcoin Ben, Arachno Dave, Tony Ambroski, The Dealer's Den, Captain Something in the Z-Way Lay, Mo Barazi, VB Nerd 21, Miguel Grelay, Lauren De Silva, Quoted Biddy, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Paternoster, Navarro Williams, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Martin Stoyo, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd, Mullis, Adam, Graysick, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Jim Gardner, Jeremy Fox, Minting Coins, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Bake Me a Cake, Tigara Machonisa, On Crypto with Lionel, and Crail and Michelle URL. Thank you all very, very much for your continued support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel who clicked the little join button below. Thank you to everyone who is or has supported my art, who is a clicker of affiliate links, who has left a like. If you are still here watching the video, here's a new one. Tell me what your favorite word in your mother tongue is. Mine is triskaidekaphobia. I don't know why I like that word, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it means a fear of the number 13. Triskaidekaphobia. It sounds incredible. at the moment. Bitcoin is currently up by 2.8%. It is at 41,284 US dollars. Ethereum is up by 2%. I think many of the coins are very timid at the moment. They're not like pushing up heavily. Luna is up by 3.4 and Avalanche is up by 4 as well. Okay, they're both in the top 10 now. Look at them. But I once again think the market is very timid and not giving its all because, you know, we keep trending sideways for a very long time. And, you know, should any major movement happen upward and then it goes downward, every other coin will also be affected by that as well. Nothing too crazy. ApeCoin, okay, is up by 6.8%. It is up by 17% in the last week. I would have assumed this news would have happened like 2 days ago because we got news that Coinbase is making a 3-part movie series about ApeCoin. So I would have assumed we would have seen that pump 2 days ago, but alas, here we are right now. Thorchain is up by 18%. Tezos is up by 4%. And yeah, I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope that you all continue to have a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, and or supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.